All right, I think I'm started. All right, let's see here. All right, we're just going to give it a bit, I guess, just to let some people kind of get in there and connect us. So if you got to do some things still, all right. All right, I think I'm going to have another shot before we do this.
You want to have some more of that wild turkey?
Oh, yeah, wild turkey. I'm into wild turkey.
Well, here we go. Okay. So
Wild Turkey 101. Wild Turkey 101, it's better.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Better than the Wild Turkey.
Wild Turkey 101. Nice. So is this like...
It's not that expensive. It's still under $40 a bottle.
Huh.
Joe Bob approved.
Joe Bob approved.
It's kind of shit that Shock Stock got moved there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, we got
to.
Yeah, that convention that we were supposed to, our grind band was supposed to play at too. It just got canceled, and that's not till May 2nd or whatever. So yeah, that just got put out to August now.
14th.
August 14th. So yeah,
you know what? The Saturday, the 15th. That's my anniversary.
Oh, so it's a good thing. Oh, August.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a good thing because it's still my wife's gonna.
Cheers!
Where were you from?
Cheers, guys! Right on! Woo! We were gonna perform in London, Ontario. It was the Shock Stock, which is like a cult exploitation horror fest that our friends put on every year for the last. This would be the 10th anniversary. So yeah, we were supposed to play where they usually have the bands in the Ramada breakfast buffet out of all the places. But it worked out it works out perfect because the whole hotel is the convention, the hotel, and the venue also. So it's like you don't even have to leave the place. You just get there Friday morning, set up whatever the convention, the booths or whatever, and then literally just put on your house coat for the rest of the weekend. It's fucking awesome. But like I said, unfortunately, it's all canceled now.
Well,
that sucks.
Postponed. Yeah, postponed. All right. Let's.
I played there. I played there many times, and it's always been at the Embassy Hotel.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, you never played at Call the Office?
No.
Oh, interesting. Because usually
Call the Office back then.
Yeah, Call the Office has been around for quite a while for venues also for shows. But that's cool. So you played there. Go ahead.
I played there times, and it was always at the Embassy. Always.
Oh shit. So was that with so that was with Cryptopsy?
Yeah. Yeah, I played there. Yeah, it was just that. You know, it's that. I for some reason I always look forward to those shows. I don't know why. It's such a shitty little dumpy place, and
Yeah.
but there's still there. You know what I mean? There's like, you know, the fans are into it. It's always a wild time. People are getting hammered. People, you know, it's I always liked playing that.
Yeah, for sure. No. So that would that have been through the? I guess let's start going back a little bit. But I'm gonna stand out of view so that you can pay attention to the camera there or whatever. So we're gonna kind of stay behind you. But so
Okay,
yeah. So I guess you kind of fronted Cryptopsy for a little bit. How did that come about?
Well, you know, I mean, I know those. I knew those guys for several years beforehand. I had just moved up here to be with my girlfriend, and then, you know, who became my wife. And you know, I mean, I was hanging out with those guys anyways. Dan Lord Worm was leaving, and they asked me. They said, you know, it was actually Flo. He asked me if I wanted to come down and try out. So I did. I came down. I learned. I don't remember what songs I learned, but I did learn. I want to say like three or four tunes. Came down well prepared and just hammered them out and hammered them out again. And I think we played them probably like 3 times that night. And by the end of it, they were like, "Okay, man, well, you're in." Helped. I mean, I knew these guys well too. So I mean, it was a pretty easy marriage.
Yeah. So you came in learning None So Vile tunes, or did they have Whisper Supremacy already going?
But they did. They had 2 songs from Whisper Supremacy. They had Cold Hate Warm Blood and White Worms. So those tracks were already written before the album. So I went back and I learned the 2 albums before that. I basically I sat down. I used to be in an apartment, and we used to have to wash clothes in like this basement. So I'd go down there and I'd have my CD Walkman, and I had all the lyrics written out. I'd rewrite the lyrics so that just through memory, just remember. A lot easier for me, and just fucking hammered out both those albums. Every time I come down to practice, I'd have another 2-3 songs under my belt, wow. And that's how it went. So I want, and for me, I wanted to because those 2 songs off the Whisper Supremacy album, both those songs I was super into. So I wanted to learn these songs as fast as possible so that I could get down to learning those tunes. Really, it was definitely the carrot that was in front of me. Try to get the rest of it done and go for those 2 songs.
So
and my wife, and we were in his car. He had a Le Car. He had a Le Car. And tiny little chip box. It was actually a pretty cool car. And he's like, "Okay, we just finished this. You got to hear it." I remember him putting it on, and I was just like, "Dude, the drums they sound like cannons." And yeah, I mean, it was. I heard it before it was out. I was one of the first people to hear the record, and I was just hanging out with him at that point. Yeah, it's talk. I mean, is it not the top death metal record of all time? Like, I don't know.
It is.
It's certainly
one of them for sure.
It's definitely. I would say it's definitely up there, but I still find Blasphemy made flesh.
Yeah, I know you like that. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a great album. I mean, there's no denying. Like it's. I mean, that's actually the first. That's the first Cryptopsy I heard was that.
Right.
And of course I was. I mean, obviously I was blown away. The songs are, rich with texture. They're just brilliant. It's well written, sick death metal. So yeah.
Well, I love the
that,
mix.
and then what was that?
I love the mix, the way they bump the bass up at certain parts and stuff on that album. It makes it sound so different to everything else that was coming out at that time. It was perfect.
I agree.
Yeah, totally. Where is it here? Actually, I have. Let's see. Actually, just so happen to have.
Ooh. Nice.
The tapes. There we go. Yeah, man. Because I remember I was doing a fanzine at the time, and I was in contact with, Remy from, what the fuck was that label?
Rock on Stock?
Yeah.
Rock on Stock.
Yeah, that's right. And he ended up sending me some flyers or whatever like that, because I mean that's just what it was back then, right? So a few weeks later, ended up getting the the Ungentile Exhumation demo, and I was just reading about Cataclysm and the Deathgate cycle of Reincarnation demo.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm starting to hear this term Canadian hyperblast. And it's like, okay, what is this all about? And then this Cryptopsy comes in, and literally, it was like nothing else. It was literally like nothing else.
They were absolute purveyors in the metal, but I mean obviously in Quebec metal, they're purveyors for sure. But really, they were a band that early on just shook things up and did it differently.
They totally did, and awesome that they're just Canadians too, right?
Yeah.
So you weren't originally from Canada. Give a little history about your upbringing in death metal.
listen, I mean, I'm from the Boston area. I was actually born right outside of Boston, a city called Chelsea. It's actually where my parents grew up. My father's actually from Italy, but they had met early on. So it's like a burg right outside of it's not a burg. It's a city right outside of Boston. And I mean, I was around music all my life. I mean, my parents were more into like Motown and shit like that. So I mean, it's always been from Motown to rock, to my beginnings of listening to classic rock, to going a little bit deeper into finding Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and AC/DC, and then taking it up a notch through Megadeth and Metallica and Slayer, and and then moving from there to pretty quickly to bands like Venom and SOD and Anthrax and Testament and Overkill, that sort of wave, much like I think anyone my age went through that were into metal.
How old are you?
Then it was all the local hardcore bands, and and then I mean it just developed into this monster of trying to find something that was groovier, heavier, faster. Constantly looking for new stuff all the time. I still to this day. I mean, I'm the same guy I was when I was 15, 16 years old, listening to King Diamond or Merciful Fate. I still pop that shit on, but I'm also that guy that was looking for as much new shit that he could find. I'm that crazy lunatic that tries to find as much music as possible. I love it. Wouldn't change a thing.
So even at a young age, you were always searching for the fastest, the hardest, the heaviest, the brutal, everything.
Definitely, absolutely. It's funny. I was thinking there was a when I was a kid, there was a Creedence Clearwater Revival song, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of it right now. It's one of their fastest songs, anyways. And I remember thinking when I was a kid, I was like, holy shit, this is like so fast, And like you listen to it now, and it's just like, it's not fast. But for me, who was, a kid that was, first time I heard that was fucking 8, 9 years old, and for me, it was just like I gravitated immediately towards something that was quicker paced than your standard big airy rock bands. It was a little quicker. I wish I could think of the song. I'll think of it after.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I remember at an early age that I absolutely, without a doubt, went towards things that were a little quicker in pace and also slower in pace too. I like I'd say those are the two in the spectrum, the side of the spectrum that I gravitated towards. And then of course, you come into the middle to mid tempo stuff as well. And I mean, I just love it all. I'm a metalhead. I'm a classic rock fan. I'm a hip hop fan, a hardcore fan. I mean, I like real shit, real music that is passionate and had something to say.
Yep. No, totally. Yeah, because I mean, going to my roots, I remember as a kid in like grade 3, grade 4, all of a sudden it's like, okay, you hear a Black Sabbath song, you hear a Deep Purple song, even with some Styx, right? I mean, I'm a big prog rock guy myself nowadays, and just growing up with that stuff, you're like, there's something about it, right? But with the Black Sabbath and the Iron Maiden, I remember one of my next door neighbors, he had Peace of Mind when it just came out on vinyl, and I was a big BMX, big BMX guy back in the day, so you'd have your little cliques and crews or whatever, and there was a couple of the older kids all the time that was like, oh hey man, you guys ever listen to Judas Priest? You ever listen to Iron Maiden and stuff? And it's like, no, what's this shit, right? So then my next door neighbor's older brother had some Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, so I look at the cover, Peace of Mind, and I was like, okay, well, what is this? There's more than just a Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell cover looking, right? So you're sitting there. Yeah. I mean, and I'm still pissed to this day that Bat Out of Hell is such, I can't stand Meatloaf, but that fucking album cover just.
I don't like it either. Man, I was just looking at that album cover recently, and I was like, holy fuck, like, this is the best metal album cover of all.
It literally is.
How come this guy guy is totally not metal and not cool at all.
It's so true. It's so true.
Well, you know what? The song the greetings song was traveling band. You know,
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
a quick pace track there.
Yep.
Quick pace. And I just remember being blown away by it, like, holy fuck, it's so heavy, it's so heavy. What do we know?
Well, I mean, you're a kid, right? You're trying to find,
For sure.
and yeah. You're
I used to think Fight Fire with Fire was like the fastest thing ever. And I listen to it now, I'm like, so lame.
Dude, I remember the first time a friend of mine had actually introduced me to that album and that song, and a friend of mine, he hated it. You know, he's like, dude, you gotta hear this fucking trash. So he puts it on, and I was just like, wow, what the fuck? What the hell is this? It's like so over the top.
Yeah.
Exactly. You listen to it now, you're like,
Yeah.
I like it.
But it's
It's great, but
it's still fucking amazing though.
Yeah.
Holy
the
shit.
guitar tone is amazing.
100%.
Yeah, that guitar tone especially. Holy
yeah.
crap. So what was the first death metal band that you actually got to listen to and were like, okay, something's different here?
Ooh, that's a good question. Straight death metal.
Or grindcore or whatever, right? Because, I mean, like, for me, it was Napalm Death, From Enslavement to Obliteration.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I want to say that or Carcass, but quite honestly, I think, you know, I will say this. The first death metal album I had was Scream Bloody Gore.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, it wasn't. My first one was Tales from Celtic Frost. That was my first really heavy out of the you know the zone of I just remember reading shit on like Hit Parader and everybody trashing the shit out of that album, and I was like, oh, I have to hear it now because everyone's smashing it. So
yeah,
and I found it on vinyl, bought that, and then Scream Bloody Gore was the second one I had. I know I had early on I had some Bathory records. I had what the fuck else did I have on vinyl back then? Those are the ones that immediately stick out, you know.
Yeah.
And then of course, beyond that, I mean, it just became
of course,
absolute monster after that.
Well, yeah.
Records. I've been buying vinyl since I was 15 years old.
How old are you?
Or even. 48.
48. Well, I'm 45, so that's not too far off. Yeah, we're good.
We get there.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah. Yeah. So you come from Boston and you start playing in some bands, correct?
Yep.
So
my first,
yep.
Funny story about that. I was just talking about this. The first, I had a group of friends. And they, one of them picks up a guitar, one picks up a drum, and it's like, okay, well, I don't play any of this shit at that time. I don't play any of that. So what do we do? A buddy of mine gives me his recorder's mic. I don't know where he got it. I think he got it from school. It's like a little recorder's mic. And he passed that mic to me. He's like, dude, why don't you just, start yelling into the mic? So I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Awful, terrible. I know it was. But everyone's, great, we get someone to sing, someone's gonna, okay, so, and then you practice, and then it's like, okay, well, I'm starting to maybe start to figure some shit out. And we used to get together and just play with like local kids and just put bullshit songs together and, the worst lyrics you can ever imagine. And then it spawned from that to an actual band that was playing some local shows. That band was called Skeletal Onslaught. We weren't very good, but we tried. We were, we were like a cross between like thrash. Yeah, it was like thrashy, not well played metal.
Yep. Hey.
And so you gotta start somewhere, and your stepping stone is, it's always generally it's not going to be your first project, and of course this wasn't. It spawned from that to me being in another project called Mindscape. It was more of a hardcore project, and then that became Infestation, which was the first project that we that we started to play outside of the area, so we get to play shows up throughout New England, basically. Before that, we with Scouts of Onslaught, even though it was a beginning band, we were still lucky enough to play with. We played with Dead Horse. We played with Morbid Angel on Altars of Madness.
Oh Jesus! Oh my God, that would have been amazing to see that. Holy shit!
Yeah, it sure as hell was.
Death metal.
That was a lucky break that we got on that one. I actually played at a club in Boston called the Channel. It's a famed club. And I mean, since it's defunct now, it's been closed for many years. But this was sort of my playground, if you will, for going to shows. I've seen everybody there. I see Testament, Overkill, Malaya Rage, King Diamond, Trouble. King Diamond and Trouble were on the same tour back then. I mean, I got to see everyone back in the day. We used to go all the time. And in fact, the shows were all 18 plus. I was 16 years old, and I was always getting into these shows. Nobody carded, nobody gave a shit. I mean, I wasn't drinking in the clubs, but I was able to get into all those shows, no problem.
Yeah, totally.
And so it's gone from Infestation. Once I started with Infestation, that's when the bigger gigs started happening. We started to put out a couple of demos. We were starting to get known in Boston. We used to play. There was a circuit of bands that we used to play with back then. It was a band called Delusion, a band called Desolate. These were the two other bands that we would quite often be put together with. And that was the time when we get to play. We played with Guar. We played with Napalm Death. We played with the Exhorter show. Anyways, we got on all the big gigs that were coming through at that point. And that was really, I'd say, the point where things started to catapult in terms of, okay, I'm finding my voice. I'm figuring out, my lyrics are much better now. I'm trying more shit live. Or I'm trying more stuff on, recording, and it just, really, that was the point when things started to develop, and I started to, I always loved it, but this was a point where I said, okay, you know what, maybe I could actually do something with this,
Right.
And that's really where it started. From there, I went to, I moved up here and then joined up with Cryptopsy, and here I am.
So what year was that?
With Cryptopsy?
Well, when you moved to our land.
Yeah, that was, Jesus, was it 96 or 97? Somewhere in that range. Well, dates, dude, I'm terrible with dates.
None So Vile was
96.
None So Vile was 96? Is that what that was?
96, so this was around, yeah.
Okay.
That seems right. 96, so this was 96, 97. I think I came up here 97, early 97.
Right. That was a year.
Digging her out.
Yeah, I just happened to have None So Vile on vinyl here. But it's
oh, dude, I
it was recorded 95, 96.
Yeah, it was released 96, recorded 95. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, see there, just awesome. We can show you over there. There we go. Yeah. So when they asked you, obviously, I mean, that's kind of a big deal because Cryptopsy are all of a sudden starting to make a pretty giant name for themselves in just Canadian death metal, along with Gorguts, Cataclysm, and all that kind of stuff at the time. So you being asked, I mean, you came here for a job, some other job originally, or did you come here to start playing music?
No, I did. Truth be known, I came up here to be with my my girlfriend, my wife. That was the move. This was a subsequent piece to it, actually, because I had moved up here and we were going to try to keep Infestation going. I'm down in Boston all the time, so I said, well, look, we'll get together, we'll still play, we'll still practice, we'll write some songs, and it crumbled pretty quickly after. It was just the nature of the beast. Where they were concerned. I was less concerned about it because I knew I would come back, but I think they were the other guys in the band were a bit more fearful that after all this work that it was kaputz, and hey, I mean, it was, you know, it was over after that.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, like I said, I was out drinking with Flo one night, and he's like, you know, look, Dan's out. So what do you say? What do you want? You know, you want to come down and try it out? Yeah.
Of course. All right. So then you guys. So then on that album especially, Cryptopsy gets signed to was it Century Media, right?
Yeah.
Was it Century Media? So you jump on and start recording right away before they were signed? Is that what it was, or?
No, we had signed. No, we had. Are you saying before we had signed with before we signed with Century Media that we started to record?
Yeah.
No, we what we did was we had actually recorded on a boombox the set. And we sent it to them on a fucking shitty boombox, dog shit sounding
90s.
piece of shit tape. And somehow they were like, okay, boys, we want to talk, you know. And this, I guess, you know, the recording phase was a month or more. We were trying to figure out if this was the right move. We were talking to other labels at that point. You know, we sent that one out, but then we had Nuclear Blast who was looking at us. We had Relapse that was talking to us. So there was some interest elsewhere, and then we said, you know, like for whatever reason, quite honestly, I don't recall exactly what it was. I think they tried to sway us by telling us that we were gonna be direct support to Morbid Angel on Covenant, I think, if I remember correctly. And so that was, I don't know, it wasn't Covenant. It would have been
Domination.
Domination.
Yeah, it would have been Domination. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was, for kids that were just trying to figure this shit out, really trying to figure out the label situation. I think I was the most reserved about it. I think I was the last one to say, all right, fine, let's do it. In fact, I know I was. Yes. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, yeah. Cheers. Ew.
Sorry, I mean to interrupt with the booze.
Hey, what better reason? So they had put that out in front of us and said, look, you guys sign. You get the time is now. Are we going to do this or not? So they wanted to do it. The rest of the guys wanted to do it. And, who am I to hold it back? So fine, okay, let's do it. And we signed your standard, typical deal that, is just smothered the band in terms of money-wise. They didn't smother the band in terms of creativity, didn't smother the band in terms of having money given to us to record. They were stand up all the way through all of that. But nonetheless, I mean, at the end of the day, they're there to make money, and the money just wasn't there from the record sales. It just wasn't, it wasn't there,
What do you mean?
So that happened to you.
What do you mean? Whisper Supremacy? Whisper Supremacy didn't sell like it was or supposed to, or they thought?
No, Whisper Supremacy sold very well. We just signed a deal that just didn't give us a lot of money.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was probably because Century Media was pretty young.
Yeah, we just didn't. We had to. Where we made money was touring.
Right.
And that was we made good money touring, but record sales unless we were selling them on our own, Century Media was real good about handing us CDs and stuff like that. There was a lot of things that Century Media was really good about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever dare bite the hand that feeds,
Yeah.
And they did feed, and they were, and all the people there were very, very cool. But of course there is that side of it where we're the ones who wrote the record, and we're not seeing fuck all from it. That's how it goes.
Right.
When you sign a deal, and then the worst thing about it is we didn't even get the fucking tour. We didn't get somehow. I think by the time we signed it, someone else took the direct support, and that was it. So we didn't even get the Morbid Angel shows.
That sucks.
Wow. That's surprising, actually.
Who'd you go on tour with then?
No, they went on.
After that, the first.
You guys ended up going on tour. We ended up talking about this in Quebec when we met you for the second time. You toured with Vader, Divine Empire, and Gorguts.
I think the first tour that was the second tour. The first tour was Oppressor, Nile, and Gorguts on the Death Across America.
It's a pretty good silver medal.
Oppressor? Wow. Hold on.
Yeah, remember that?
Hold on.
Totally.
Hold on. I got a demo here. I got an Oppressor demo somewhere here.
Great bunch of guys. Yeah, go on that tour.
Anyways, yeah, it's up there somewhere though. I got an Oppressor there. Oh, it's fucking great. So that was the first tour with Cryptopsy just before Whisper Supremacy was released, or just after?
I think we had just released it because I'm pretty sure I don't think we would have toured without the album.
Okay.
In opposition to trying to make some money.
Yeah,
so, and the thing was is we were selling a shitload back then. We were selling a shitload of merchandise. I mean, really, we were killing it merchandise wise. It was, we were at that point. It was just really starting to explode, and so we were in contact with Century Media and having them deliver, send us CDs and shirts and all sorts of shit. Sending it every second show, a third show or something. I'm not kidding you. It was that crazy. And we were selling out big time. It was I know for a fact Nile was selling a lot. I know for a fact we were selling a lot. I couldn't speak for the other two bands how much they were selling, but those because we would talk about it. Like holy shit, we're like the first two bands, and fuck man, like how much shit are we selling?
Yeah.
It was great. It was getting the name was out there. People were live show was awesome. It was passionate, full of energy. We were. I know we were good. We busted our ass to be good. We worked hard to make sure we were in the pocket every night.
So during that, during Whisper Supremacy, I know there was some member changes also between None So Vile and Whisper, or was it Blasphemy and None?
Probably both, right?
All of them. Every album had somebody in it. It was every album had someone in it. Now, when I was there, it was Miguel. Miguel Roy was the rhythm guitarist, and then there was some issues with him crossing the border, so we had no choice but to he stepped down, and then after that, Alex came in.
Oh yeah.
He joined. We had Alex come in, and then there was no changes. Those were the only two changes that I bore witness to personally. John left the band at one point in between the two albums. He left for brief, probably a couple months or so. We were writing without him, and then, or we were just beginning to write without him. We were sort of reeling after he decided to leave. And then he came back. He's like, "Well, guys, I miss it." We're like, "Well, we miss you." So, so it was a simple, easy transition back.
Right on. You had a question.
Yeah, I was wondering, because around the time of Whisper Supremacy, that was when Cryptopsy really started to ramp up the technicality. Like before, None So Vile and before was more about the brutality, but Whisper Supremacy and definitely And Then You'll Beg, that's when it was started to really, really get technical with the riffs and everything. Did that suit your vocal style more, or did you kind of wish it was more like the early days with it when it was more like brutal?
No, that's a good question. No, for myself, I quite honestly, like I said, those first two songs, I was already seeing a change in terms of the technicality. So I was hyped up on learning the first two tracks immediately. So I knew where we were going. It was already being developed, that new signature sound. But a lot of that comes down to John and Flo. The two of them just brainstorming ideas, and the two of them work like they were phenomenal. You have that that duality of they're so phenomenal is there's always going to be some butting heads and stuff like that. I'm not saying that they didn't get along or not, they did. We're all brothers. We all loved each other, But with that, I think that with that intense musicianship and that intense their abilities were so much that I think that they were, one's always trying to overtop the other one with ideas and stuff. And I think that helped bring the sound to the table. It really, they just worked fucking unbelievably well together. Really, it was something to see.
Yeah, because
in terms of like if it suited me or not, more for those records versus the earlier records. I was up for the challenge. For me, I always want to do something. I try to do something that's going to be different. I don't want to do the same stuff over and over again. It might be the same style or similar styles and things like that, but I would like to have something that challenges me a little bit more. And that, without a doubt, gave me a ton of challenge. Sure, the first two the songs off the first two records, without a doubt, they gave you a challenge. The whole way through was all a challenge. But it was that I would say there was another step to the challenge when we started writing those two albums, for sure.
Yeah, I thought it suited it for sure because, with the more technicality, because your vocals are a little more easier to understand. Like, they're still brutal and guttural, but it goes along with the music because the music kind of got a little more cleaner too. Like, you could understand what was going. You kind of had to because it was so technical. I like And Then You'll Beg is like totally. That's like a special record for me personally, just because I listened to it like 100 times. And I still don't know parts of it because it's so technical. Like it's just like always going, but it's awesome. You know what I mean? It's like perfect. Like every dot, like every I and every T is crossed on that record. It's perfect. I just love it.
And then with your vocals, like Lord Worm had a vocal style, right? Like Blasphemy, he had that sick, gargly, kind of incomprehensible tones to himself. None So Vile, I find, unfortunately, wasn't his best vocal style, but just the music and just what happened on that album was unbelievable. But then when you came in, Cryptopsy went to another level, and you brought just, like, dimension to it. There was the brutal, there was the breakdowns, there was the blasts, there was the weird technical bass riffs and everything like that, and your vocals just fit it perfectly, which I found was a breath of fresh air, really, to everything, and just Canadian death metal in general, which I thought was fucking awesome.
I thought that was a great album.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Whisper Supremacy was really good too, but I think one of the things that made it so good was because your vocals, you could tell what you were saying, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, like, they were so brutal and death metal, but, like, it wasn't just like, you know what I mean? Because the music was so crazy. It was nice to be able to follow some vocal passages over top of it.
Right.
I just thought it was a perfect mix, personally.
Yeah.
That was around my time, so I'm just speaking personally.
It was definitely I appreciate that. It was definitely by design that we would, it's just not my style anyways. The last thing I wanted to do was to come in and do the same thing that Lord Worm was doing,
Because Cryptopsy wasn't either.
People would ask back in the day, they would ask me if, you're going to eat worms, you're going to do this. I'm like, fuck no. Am I going to fucking put a wig on and fucking, I'm not going to, I had to, without a doubt, I'm gonna have my own identity. That was 100%. And those guys embraced it. They welcomed it. They wanted that. They wanted something different. And I wouldn't have had it any other way, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, just Cryptopsy alone, just one of those bands where it's just like progressive rock. You try to, you follow the band from the early albums, and you love the early albums, and when you're progressive, you literally progress faster than the listener can keep up with on album-wise too, right? So all of a sudden, you're like in a whole nother realm, and when you bring in another vocal style, it just kind of, like, it keeps it going, or whatever. So, and Cryptopsy was such a progressive band, like, literally, from day one. The way that the speed picking, the hyper blast, and all that stuff, and it was just a perfect progression into when you came into the mix, and just what to follow after that.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe it was a natural progression, 100%. I mean, they were. I mean, you're talking about insanely gifted musicians.
Oh.
And you put insanely gifted musicians in the same room. It's not always going to guarantee that the songs are going to come follow it, but in this case, they really did. I mean, those guys are just phenoms.
Totally. So you've been living in Canada this whole time, hanging out, watching the scene, and being a part of it or whatever. You step back a bit after the couple Cryptopsy albums?
I did. Once I stepped down from the band, there was a lot of introspection and trying to figure out what the fuck I was going to do.
Totally.
I mean, there hasn't really been a major length of time where I haven't been doing something. Shortly after I left the band, I was playing with Mike from Warhorse, Mike Hubbard from Warhorse, the drummer. And he was in Infestation, so we did great friends for many years. So he would come up, and I would play with another one of our friends, and my wife would. So we get together on the weekends and just write, psychedelic rock songs and shit.
Sweet.
So there's always been something that's been going on. That project was called Marvis, and we have, I got like 12 songs or 13 songs recorded from that. Never released it, never did anything with it, but they're somehow one of the most. They're kind of the songs that I'm the proudest about, because it really took me out of everything else that I've been doing, and it put me in a situation of actually singing rock songs.
Yeah.
It wasn't all heavy. It was heavy. Some of it was heavy, but there was singing too. There was other elements that we brought to the table.
Yeah, we just grow.
There was. What's that?
We just grow.
Yeah, man, fucking right, absolutely.
Variety is a spice of life. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's it. And that was the point of my life of introspection and growth. And I embraced it for what it was. There was some, I can't say I didn't go through some difficult times. Of course, I wanted to be with the guys and play with them. Of course, I wanted to, release the next record with them and go on tour and all those things. But it just wasn't working out.
Right. No, totally.
So, personal life and it wasn't there. So you grow beyond that, and then since then, I mean, I've done several projects. Some that have been released, and others that are just for my ears and some shit. So
yeah,
that's all good.
So that brings us to today, and now you have a new band going on. So let's talk about this.
Okay.
So let's talk about it. What No question. Just
let's rewind that.
Yeah. So tell us about this. Tell us about this new band you got going on here.
Yeah. No, that's it. Right now the band's called The Cure, and we just signed with Redefining Darkness Records. So the new album is coming out actually April 10th. It took a long time for us to get to this point. So, we to say that we're ecstatic about this release is, to undersell it. I think for us this has been a long process, a super fulfilling process, but nonetheless it has been one of those will we ever get this album out? Yeah, I think we always knew we would get the album out, but there was many roadblocks and many blockades that were up in place that may have, for someone else that sort of, maybe if they were half-assed into it, would have probably dropped off. But I think we were all very like-minded in the sense of the writing of the material and then the subsequent near release of the album.
So you got back together with Flo because obviously you guys are good buds and you just never stop talking anyways. Of course. So how did this band come together then?
Okay, but Flo's not in this project, right?
What?
With
Flo's
Kieran.
not in this
I actually
project.
haven't played with Flo.
Oh,
yeah, it's Tommy
yeah.
McKinnon that's that plays.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
So Tommy McKinnon and Rob Milley and Ollie Pinard was with Cattle Decapitation.
Right.
So yeah, the album. The band got together because basically I used to work down the street from Rob, where he used to work. So we used to get together. Known Rob for many years, and he was telling me that he had a couple songs. He was sort of fading out or phasing out Neuraxis at the time. And he's like, look, maybe I can come over. I can show you some of the songs, and we can see what we can do. So that's what we did. I had a recording studio at my old house. I have one here at my current house as well. And we got together. He had pretty much all the songs somewhat put together, and a couple of them were actually pretty defined. And we sat down and we just started going through the songs and coming up with a couple of lyrics, a couple lines through there, a couple of titles, and running titles, which ended up, I think every running title we had pretty much stuck. And it just came together with the two of us first, and then we're like, okay, well, we like the ideas here. Okay, now it's time to hire someone else to come in and take care of the drums and take care of the bass. And Rob had played with both those guys with Neuraxis, and they were an easy choice. I mean, these guys are brilliant musicians, all of them. And it came together. It came together very, very quickly, and we started putting the songs together. And it just, we would get together once a week to jam, and then it was really sort of like, look, when we get the album, this might be a testament to not say this when the album's ready, when we can get it done, because that's really the approach it's been from day one, and it has taken nearly 8 years at this point, right?
Wow.
To be released. So some of it is our own doing, because guys were in other bands, or
life.
Tommy was military, so he was off. There was certain circumstances that took place, and then there was some things that happened that were unforeseen, like the passing of my wife and passing of Rob's dad, and so there was other things that sort of stood in the way of the album being recorded or released, or and but we stuck with it. We really believed in what we were doing. I say that even though we had that belief and we knew that we would do it, and we sit in the peripheral and sort of look back at all this stuff, I can say, fuck man, we went through a lot to get this album out there, and we're only 2 weeks away right now, so
yeah,
we're excited.
Wow. So how did Mr. Thomas Haywood of Redefining Darkness, you guys get the hookup?
So Rob and Ollie had been on tour with Neuraxis with him, and I don't hold me to this, but I think he was playing with Abigail Williams, and I'm pretty sure he was playing bass with them. So he's a drummer as well. He's actually a great musician too. So Tommy would talk with him. They'd be talking shop, and actually Tommy knew him too. So so it was sort of that situation. We were shopping it around, and he had gotten in touch with Rob and said, look, I'd be interested to hear the song. So we sent it to him, and apparently he dug it, and apparently I know he likes it.
Of course.
Yeah. Hey. No. Hey. So so it was it was just I had a couple conversations with him. Told him what we were looking for. He told us what he was looking for. We said, we met in the middle and just, okay, well, let's do this. Like, the guys were comfortable with him. They know him. He's a bright dude. He knows what he's doing, and he's an up and coming label that is releasing top quality shit, and he's doing it right. He's not one of the guys that there are those labels you can sign with somebody and they promise you the world and they don't get shit done.
Yep.
He's the opposite. He's not promising the world, and he's getting shit done, and I like that. I'd rather that. Don't bullshit me. and tell me what we can expect here. And quite honestly, I appreciate that way more than getting smoke blowing up my ass.
Yeah, literally.
So we all have a common goal to make sure that this album sees the light of day, that the album gets plugged as much as possible, and so far so good. There's zero complaints.
Right on. Yeah, Thomas has been releasing some amazing stuff. I've been in contact with him for the last couple of years, and I've been buying some stuff off of him myself, and just the albums he's like, it's a great roster of bands that he's been associated with and helping out, and he's just an all around straight good guy.
Indeed, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So the album comes out when?
That's a breath of fresh air.
Yes. So when does the album come out? You said 2 weeks?
April 10th.
April 10th.
Yep, April 10th. Yeah.
Full touring band, everything?
Oh, well, no, this is the project that we had said from the start. I don't know that we probably, in hindsight, I don't think this is probably the way to go. But I think initially when we were saying we wanted to write songs that were for us, okay, so that portion of it, yeah, we did want that. This was by design. We wanted to write songs for us, and then ultimately, if we get it out there and people are into it, then fantastic. And obviously we want that, but it wasn't the goal. It wasn't the goal to get the album out in front of as many people as possible per se. The first portion of it was, let's write some songs that we're happy with, we like to play, we want to hear, and I think that was the right way to approach the album. So for us, I mean, when as we're writing the album, I'm sorry, what was the question?
I forget.
I just asked if you were going to tour for it.
Oh yeah, tour.
I mean, like now's not the optimal time. You might want to wait a little bit.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe postpone for a while.
So the right thing was for us to approach it that way, right? The wrong way for us to say it was when we walked into it, we were like, we're never gonna play a show, and I don't think that was the right approach. I think that probably turned people off to us, at least industry people. For sure.
Of course.
I think the right approach is what we're saying. Look, we recorded this album. We recorded it live.
Sweet.
We did overdubs on the album, but the songs are live. Everything, the main vocal tracks, all the guitar parts, the drums, everything.
That's awesome.
Was live.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we worked our asses off to be able to get to that point. And then for us, we were saying, okay, well, shit, we know we can do this. We do it week after week after week. We're playing it. So do we scale back from that? Well, we're not going to play live situation to, okay, well, we have an album coming out. If it makes sense, if it's a good offer, or a strong offer, we're not going to go out there for nothing. But if there's something that makes sense for us to plug the album, plug the band, put on a live performance. I mean, I haven't done this shit in a long time, right? Myself. These guys all have. They've all played and I've done a couple of guest appearances. It's been a long time. So for myself as well, it's a lot of like getting back into like live form. That we would have to, it would have to be the right investment of time and certainly money for us to actually go that route. A full tour, I will never say at this point, I will never say never, but I don't know that that's in the cards per se. One-off shows at a fly us out to a festival in Europe or something like that, perhaps. Definitely. I would say our ear is to the ground. If something comes up that makes sense, then we're wide open to it.
At least come to Toronto. Come on, man.
Yeah, I love Toronto.
Put Wild Turkey 101 on the rider.
Whoa. Dude, I'm hopping in my car. I'm there in 7 hours.
Yeah, you better be.
Bring toilet paper. We don't got any here.
That's terrible.
There's a lot of ass wiping out there.
Apparently, it's like 161 times a day for the amount of toilet paper sold.
Oh, is that the ratio that they've been putting out?
You have to shit 161 times a day
Oh my
for the amount of toilet paper they sold. Somebody calculated it.
Crazy. How many times you wipe your ass?
Yeah.
Doesn't it depend? I mean, honestly, doesn't it depend on how much like Indian food you had versus how much Guinness you drank?
Yes.
The weird thing is, I think, because nobody's shitting from it, they must be wiping their nose with it or something, right? Like, what are they doing with it?
Yeah.
So what have you been listening to lately?
Oh God. The new Reynaud. I bought that on vinyl. That it's amazing. The new Cult of Luna too. I bought that on vinyl. I saw them both when I came to Montreal. What else? What else am I listening to? I've been listening to Spirited Drift. The latest on Spirited Drift.
Yes, that's Mason from Gatecreeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that record sick.
Yeah.
I love it. I listen to I listen to a lot of Hex Festival. I don't know if you know these guys.
Hexavis?
Super hooked up. I love this band. I'm in love with this band. You know. So I mean, it's not heavy per se, but it's doomy. It's that's a band that I keep going back to constantly. I just listened to all 5 records I have in a row for the past couple of days.
Right
just
on.
playing straight. Yeah, so that's one I've been listening to a lot lately. What else am I listening to? I listen to a lot of Michael Kiwanuka outside of metal. That guy just blows me the fuck away. Super hooked on him. I like the new Cloak album. I've been listening to the new Cloak album. That's really good. I like that Tribulation, that style, that like rock and death kind of thing.
Yeah.
I know people can, I've heard a lot of people can take it or leave it, but personally I think it's really cool sound and style. The new Blood Incantation, of course. On that.
All the Blood Incantation.
The new one is definitely.
Yeah, they fucking.
Have you seen them live?
Unbelievable.
Have you seen it live yet?
Yeah, I saw them with Immolation when they came here back in
last year.
Yeah, amazing. They just fucking destroyed the place. Like honestly, they step up on stage. It was funny too because they first get up on stage and it was like they were tuning up and I was like, the fuck's who does that?
Get a tuner.
The joke was on me because they go through these motions and then they just pulverize the fucking place. Like awesome. They were incredible.
Right on.
Aside from that, I listen to a shit ton of Yob. Neurosis. I mean, these are all mainstay with my listening. The new Cattle Decapitation I really like. Metal. I mean, predominantly I'm listening to a lot of metal, but I mean, I go back to a lot of the classics too. I just bought Power. I just traded for Power Slave. And I've been listening to a lot of that last 4 or 5 days every day. I've been listening to it on vinyl.
Power Slave. I love that fucking album.
I do too. You know what? Over the years, since I've become an older man, I gotta say that I enjoy the Deano albums a lot better. These days, for some reason, I don't know why.
I was just saying that, dude, me too. I love the Bruce Dickinson era, but I love Paul Deano.
I know, it's like the best. Those 2 albums are perfect.
Dude, he's just. They're perfect. He's got like ball. I don't know, something ballsy about it.
Totally.
Well, there's almost a punk rock aesthetic
to
it.
It's like right? 2 different bands. Almost.
It's totally 2 different bands.
Yeah, it is.
They really are.
I've had this discussion so many times, and it's weird because I used to know this guy when I was older, or when I was younger, and he was older than I was, and he would always say that, and I was like, no, Bruce Dickinson's the best. But then as I aged, I totally say that now. I'm like, no, Deano is the man. Killers is the best record. You know what? They just played that last show that they did their I forget what they called it, but it was like their whole everything, right? And then they didn't play one song from Killers, man.
Wow.
Yeah, they played like everything from every album and no songs from Killers. I was like, that sucks.
Well, because it's hard to do a Deano.
Dickinson could do anything though.
I
He
know.
could have did Wrath Child. Or he could have did one song. Come on.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like a common song that he would play. But here's the thing: like the last time I saw them, and I vowed I would never see them. I've seen them so many times.
Yeah.
The last time I saw them, we played a lot of the newer stuff, and there was very few. Here's two things that bothered me about the set, and it's directly related to Bruce. Is first thing about the first thing that really got on my fucking nerves was we walk in, they have Aces High shirts, like one of the most beautiful designs of Eddie. Period. I love it. So I'm like, I'm this close to buying the record, buying the shirt. I'm like, okay, well, the shirt's like $60 for a T-shirt. Okay, I'm not gonna buy it.
No.
So, do you think they play the song? No. So they're selling the merchandise for it. They didn't play the song. That's fucking bothersome. So then during the set, he stops the song. He finished the song, and then he has to put the spotlight down on some poor little bastard that was out in the crowd smoking a joint, and he calls him out and says, like guys, like I'm running around up here, I'm putting on a show for you guys, and the least you can do is just sit back and enjoy the show and not pollute my breathing with your fucking your small like this kid is the one kid who's smoking a joint in the place. I was just like, I remember looking at my wife, I was like, is this guy for real? Like, did he just fucking do that?
Yeah.
It really bothered me, man.
What about all those planes he flies? It's not polluting his air there.
No, that's it, man. Like you can have your opinion. If you think smoking weed is bad, like all the power to you. Like that's cool.
Yep.
I don't care. I'm not gonna smoke on anyone's belief systems. But to call someone out and put a fucking spotlight on him, I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like, the guy just paid how much money to get the spotlight shown on him, and everyone probably spitting on him as he's walking out. Like, that sucked.
That's
So that
lame.
made no sense.
Was that in Canada?
That was it? Yeah.
Montreal.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's
We're
terrible.
legal
Yeah,
here.
it's
Come on.
cool now, man. Trudeau made it cool.
I think I definitely had said, "Where's Paul Diano?"
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Because he's kind of like the Lemmy of.
He was putting the spotlight on Paul Diano. It was Paul Diano that was smoking the joint out in the fucking crowd.
Hey, he's the cool bald guy, so he's all right. All right? We got to stick together.
You got any last words or anything? What's going on?
Hey man, when's the Growl documentary coming out?
We were just talking about
We just had this conversation too. Well, I guess we are pretty much shooting till at least the next Quebec Death Fest because unfortunately we don't have the budget like a lot of these production companies do. So we're kind of just doing it as we go. But we did have a pre-recorded interview with Cam Lee last year, and now that obviously Quebec's the Death Fest is happening and Massacre's coming, it would be nice to sit down with Cam actually and have the intelligent death metal conversations, because literally there's nobody like Cam Lee out there, and he's one of the originators.
Also, like Dismembers, like
and
another
Dismembers
band,
come
they
in.
they just got back together, and they're gonna play there too. Like
Yeah.
So there's like things happening too.
So we're hoping to finish filming by at least September, and then get all the in betweens before then, and then start editing. So hopefully next summer. Hopefully. But yeah,
Looking forward to it. And if we want to do a round table, like you were saying before, we can set it up here. It's
yes.
I'm totally down with it. I know the other guys would be down with it too. So
Yeah, because I was just I was having the conversation with Matt here, and you that we want to sit down with Mike, you, Luke LeMay from Gorguts, and possibly get Lord Worm or whatever, and then have like a Canadian round table,
sweet.
right? And just and talk about the old days and what everybody thought about all this craziness, right? So. But yeah, that's about it really. So like I said, we're hoping to hopefully finish filming by at least September.
If you know what too, another thing just to interject quickly, but there was like the whole thing where people say like, because like, you know, late 80s and the 90s was death metal, and then towards the mid 90s everybody says death metal was kind of dying out, but I found there was a resurgence, and it was in Canada. You know what I mean? Cryptopsy and Cataclysm and all that stuff, that was like changing, because I thought it made death metal more chaotic. You know what I mean? I always thought Incantation was the most chaotic. And then I heard Cryptopsy and Cataclysm. I was like, oh my god, it's like crazy. So that's the thing. It kind of carried it. It kind of carried it into the 2000s, and then it became really technical and well produced. And
yeah, but if it wasn't for Gorguts Obscura, then...
Gorguts is another one. Yeah, how could I forget Gorguts? Yeah, Obscura, and that was another thing. Right. Obscura was recorded in '94. And then it didn't come out till '98, but it was recorded in '94.
Yeah.
Like, it was recorded when, like, everybody was like, oh, death metal's over. But that was, like, a crazy new thing. And how many bands has it, like, made
We were
since?
in the studio. That's it. We were in the studio with Cryptopsy, and Pierre Reynaud was you know, of course he recorded that album.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, he was actually showing us, you know, the songs. Because, like, before the album was up, before we even heard it, he was showing us parts that he was trying to do, pieces of the violin and stuff like that. So I got like a early listening session of that album. And, what can you say, man? It is hands
insane.
down one of the great releases of all time, metal.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it just took it in such a weird direction.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't about riffs. It was just about dissonant time signatures and squeals, and just...
The thing I like about it is when they interviewed them, they said when they were writing the album, the two guitar players were like purposely not looking at each other so that they were playing different things together, and it totally sounds like it when you listen to it. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh my god, that's exactly what they did. You're like, I don't know what that guy's playing, I'm gonna play this.
Yeah, if you listen to the guitar riffs, I mean, honestly, yeah, for sure. That's it. It is that they somehow somehow it pieced together. And somehow it's like a 5,000 piece jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And it was great to see that live when you were touring with Cryptopsy back in the day too. So to see that translated live is a totally different story, also.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I did two tours with those guys, and I shit you not, every single night I watched that band live. Every single night, it fucking blew me away every night. Yeah.
Well, because you just stood there and you just stood there and you're like those riffs on Obscura are like you literally have to sit there and just watch. Like, it's not one of those bands where you can close your eyes and bang your head or whatever. Obscura is just one of those, like, okay, everybody shut up and just watch.
You're in the headlights.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because Canadian death metal rules.
Yeah, it's literally like it just sets apart from the rest of the world. It's unbelievable.
Awesome.
And fantastic that you got to be a huge part of, you know, the scene and some of the coolest albums that came out. And we appreciate everything you've done. And now that Acurian, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Acurian.
Yeah, that's coming out on Redefining.
Yeah, and I have the other project too. I got Coma Cluster Void as well. We got 2 albums with that. We're working on the 3rd album with that as well. So I mean, I'm fucking busy, man. There's a lot of things. I've got a couple other projects that are in its infancy that I won't bring to light right now. But really, this is a lot in the pocket. You know, there's a lot coming out.
Wash your hands.
Yeah.
All right, so we can check out your album coming out, Acurian, coming out on Redefining Darkness in the next 2 weeks or so. And that's coming out on, what, CD, LP, tapes? Is that with everything?
I think it's just CD for now, and then we'll look at vinyl. No talk on cassettes per se, but vinyl, double vinyl is what we're aiming for at some point. And you know, hopefully, I mean, if the sales dictate, then the vinyl will follow. You know, it really is really what it comes down to.
Double vinyl? What is it, 180 gram?
I would prefer. Someone else doesn't take anybody. Just scratch out someone else's vinyl and put that on it, I guess.
Just slap a label on it. A Curion and a Styx record.
That's funny.
Oh,
Guys,
shit.
thank you so much. Really, honestly, I really appreciate this. This was a fucking blast. A lot of fun.
Fucking right, dude. And hopefully you're coming out to the next Quebec Death Fest, correct?
I'll be there for that for sure. Absolutely.
All right. Well, then we're doing.
We get to have some drinks in person and like actually cheers for real.
Yeah, totally. And I know, like I said, when we just seen you there last in September or whatever. I mean, it like the festival just goes by so fast. There's so many people to meet, and it was nice to actually kind of there's Mike again, because like I said, we met you originally on that Gorguts Cryptopsy tour back in '96 at the El Macombo in Toronto. 96, 97.
Oh, the El Macombo.
Yeah.
Yeah. 90.
That was my first death metal concert.
98. It was the Death Across America. It was 98.
Yeah. Okay. 98. Holy shit. Okay. All right. Yeah. And if Metal Dan was here, my ex radio partner, this guy has a memory I can't believe, but he remembers going meeting you backstage and smoking some joints and just hanging out and party. And like he remembers this.
He knows the shirt you were wearing, man.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah. He knows everything.
I swear to God, man,
His
this guy
memory's
remembers everything. It's ridiculous. But like I said, man, we're gonna see you in Quebec again in September, and be sure to look out for the Acurian album that's coming out on Redefining Darkness Records in the next 2 weeks. Our buddy Thomas Haywood out of Ohio. Fantastic dude, great supporter of the scene for the last 30 years also. Hooking these guys up. New album, Canadian death metal. Yeah, I swear to God, you got to check this out, because you're obviously very proud of it.
Absolutely. Immensely proud. Immensely proud.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Any last words?
Absolutely.
Any last words?
Hopefully, we want to see what people think of it.
Yeah, totally. Well, we're going to make sure to post everything we can, because, like I said, the Growl is major supporters of just being good dudes and just all-around supporters.
Cam, Matt, you guys are the best. Thank you.
Right on, man. Thank you very much, dude. It's been a super pleasure. There you are. All right, man. So, like I said, we're gonna share as much as we can with you and the guys and everybody at the Growl, and we'll chat again very soon.
Yes, we will. Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers, my man.
He's got a lot more than us.
I think we're just gonna keep live. I think
We'll just keep talking. What the hell? I'm gonna get in a beer.
I gotta go take a piss.
By the end of the night, people will be like, holy shit, those guys are hammered.
Literally.
But they'll still keep watching, so that's good.
It's just gonna get worse as the night goes on, right?
Oh, because they're all hammered.
Well, because nobody else is doing anything anymore. Everyone's stuck at the house.
Yeah, we're just all sitting at home talking about metal. That's another good thing about Dan. He can remember everything about everything.
I gotta go take a piss. I'll be right back. Jesus.
When's the last time you saw those guys from Cryptopsy? Fairly recently, or a long time?
I saw Flo at the Quebec Metal Fest.
So last year?
I saw Dan or Lord Worm. Huh?
Last year, then?
I saw Lord Worm. Yeah, last year October was when I saw Flo, and I saw Dan and Steve Tebow. I saw him maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. We went out to a restaurant. Yeah, so I saw those guys. Alex, I haven't seen forever. Miguel, I've chatted back and forth with on Facebook. Eric I haven't seen since I've been out of the band. Yeah, you know. Who else is in the band that I would have seen? Well, I see Matt. Of course, Matt
Sitcher.
And Donaldson, and I see those guys at shows as well. Yeah. So I mean, great bunch of guys.
For sure. When you were in Boston, what year was that? Was that around the hardcore time when the Boston hardcore scene was going on?
Yeah, but it was a mix. You had. It was a beautiful mix that was happening. That I don't know was happening in many other scenes. You had your hardcore kids, you had the metal kids, you had thrash kids, you had punk kids. You had all these people that were together in a giant mixing bowl, really, of musical tastes or musical styles, musical genres, but it all somehow everyone managed to get along until they didn't.
Yeah, that was
they didn't.
That was the weird thing about it, because I don't come from that. I know some hardcore and stuff, but I don't come from New York and Boston and the whole deal, right? I just see the documentaries, and I got a few friends that are my drummer is a real hardcore guy, so he knows everything about everything. So I was just kind of curious to hear, because I know Boston and New York had kind of a thing, and it's kind of weird because to me it just seems like it should be a whole community, but it seemed like there was a kind of weird divide. So I don't know, it seemed like a lot.
Like that.
Was it? Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't always like that. It was that awesome melting pot that just that's the scene that I grew up in, and then the scene developed into something else that wasn't as friendly.
Yeah, it was a weird kind of that's the thing. I always wonder about that, because I don't come from that scene, but some of my favorite albums were from that, the first Suicidal, the first DRI, that kind of stuff was really made me go, holy shit, music is awesome. You know what I mean? So that was kind of a thing. But then I hear from people that were actually a part of the scene, and it's a totally different thing to them. So it's kind of nice to hear other people. You're from Boston, so it's kind of cool. I want to know what you think about it, because I'm not from New York, I'm not from Boston or nothing like that, but they're saying they're fighting and stuff, and it's really, why? You should all be. I don't get it. It's kind of like black metal people.
There was a lot of. Yeah, it was. I mean, like I said, it was a scene that definitely, at one point, there was a lot of. There was, everyone got together. What goes, it didn't matter. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
And everyone, I would say, it was, it was that scene to be very proud. I'm still very proud of, growing up in that scene. This is not a scene that I was just
awesome.
Hanging out once in a while. This was a scene I was going to shows all the time.
Yeah,
so,
that's wicked.
You know everyone, and and then there was, I'm not going to go into massive detail about it, because I don't think that those details warrant.
There's so many documentaries. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's been detailed to death.
If you want to see about it, you can check out the documentaries, and I know guys on both sides. I knew guys on both sides of all that, and it sucked to see that a scene that was so promising and so developed in friendship and camaraderie, to be broken apart by stupid things like what you have long hair, or you have short hair, or you like this band, you like that kind of band, and stuff like that. And then it became even worse than that. It became even crazier than that. So I witnessed a real massive peak where it was the scene to be a part of. Right down to the days where nobody would book shows anymore because
the violence. Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, that's one thing I don't like about the whole. Because maybe it's lesser now because people are used to it, but I play. My band is like a thrash band, but we play with a lot of punk bands, and
Yeah.
there's like no like you can book 5 punk bands, and no venues are going to be like, oh, I don't have to worry. You know, nobody's going to wreck the place. But back then, it was different. It seemed like it was like, well, if I book this band and this band, they're probably going to destroy my establishment or whatever, right? That's what it seemed.
I've been to shows in Boston where establishments were destroyed and patrons were fucking demolished.
Yeah, destroyed. Absolutely. I bet for sure. It's
Yeah.
kind of neat to hear about that now because
it got crazy for a while. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's kind of weird too because like I've always thought of myself as a metal guy. I've always kind of been a metal person. I'm drawn to that sort of thing. But when I was listening to Dealing With It and, you know, Suicidal's first record, that was like metal to me. You know, they call it crossover now. But
metal.
Yeah, it's like metal punk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's grindcore.
Yeah, a lot of it was that. You know what I mean? Like that, a lot of those old crust punk bands that became grind, like Napalm Death, they sound pretty fucking hardcore to me when they started. You know what I mean? Like people don't talk about that. They talk about Napalm Death Scum, but they don't talk about like Hatred Surge and all that stuff before when they sounded like a shitty punk band.
Yep.
Because but that's the thing. Like all of that kind of stuff. I was a little after that time, so I just kind of hear about it from other people. It kind of, I don't know, it interests me to hear people that were actually there talk about it, because most people say what you're saying. They say it wasn't what it is in the documentaries until later.
It was later.
Yeah.
It was later. I mean, there was a couple of different waves of it too. You know, I'm not gonna talk about groups because I'm just not gonna do that. But I can say that there was one group that was there that deserved to be cleaned the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
They weren't good people. And there was another group that came in and cleaned this group out. They basically chased them around throughout New England and New York and places like this and got them the fuck out of there. And then the other group became, not in philosophy, but in action, became the same sort of group that they removed. And that's kind of how it went down. So you went from everyone getting together to one group coming in and destroying people, to another group coming in, wiping them out, and then that group
becoming the same.
Hurting
That's
people
terrible.
that didn't deserve to be hurt.
See, that's the thing that always bugs me about metal and punk and hardcore and the whole thing. It's like the whole idea of the whole thing is that we're this kind of an outsider thing. Like maybe Iron Maiden and Metallica are really big, but generally most metal and punk bands are like lesser known. It's a small percentage. So why are we like fighting each other? Like I don't get it. We should all be together? Like we should all be a scene together.
Yeah, but the underground, there's the underground elitists, which are more underground than the others, which means you can't listen to that band if you listen to that band.
That's right.
So, and the fact that you grew your hair out a little bit more than the Skinhead did on that album or whatever, that means you're just mainstream and you have no right to be here anymore.
That's what I got into metal and punk for, was because I love the rules.
Yeah.
The rules are the best part.
Yeah. I mean, I like in the early days of Boston, very much like it is in Quebec now, and has been in Quebec, is that, when you go, and it's such a fucking beautiful feeling when you go to a show in Montreal, as an example, and you've got all different types of bands that are there. If someone's up dancing and they're into it, and someone gets clobbered and knocked over, there's 20 guys trying to pick that kid up, to get him out of harm. And you know what I mean? And that still goes on today, which just to me is that's what I embrace.
It should be standard.
That attitude, we're all here together. We're enjoying the show together.
Yeah.
Do we want to fight and stop the show? Do we want to get people fucking put to the hospital? I don't. I
No,
want
fuck no.
to watch a show. I paid money to go see the show. I want to be here and hang out. And if somebody's on the ground, like it used to be back in the day, someone's on the ground, well, pick that fucking kid up.
That's right.
You know, instead of trampling him fucking on his head. You know, like that to me is never something that was any part of my philosophy or any part of my.
Well, that was the thing too. If somebody went down, there wouldn't just be one person picking them up. It would be everyone picking them up. You know, and that it's like that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and there should be no. And
I
there
went to see the
Yeah, and there should be no elitism in the scene itself when there is only 100 people of us going to this fucking show in the first place, right? Like, come on, man. We're all at this weird freaking underground show that nobody else knows about. So everybody here in this show is cool enough to fucking help each other out. So fucking get your head out of your asses.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I mean, like I went to see a show last year. It was The Casualties with Gozu and fucking band off of Metal Blade. Drawing a blank on the name. Real evil band. The singer was
Midnight,
from
not Midnight.
No. Singer was from, oh my god, I can't believe I can't think of this band's name.
They're a punk band?
Singer with band from New Orleans. Fuck, I'll think about it. Anyways, you know, so it was a very eclectic mix of bands. And, you know, the Casualties.
Yep.
Punk rock. All these, like, crusty punk rock kids, like Nausea fans come out. But it doesn't matter. Like, there's metal kids that are dancing too. And those metal kids that went down, the punk kids are picking them up. The punk kids are, you know, getting hit. Everyone's coming, sorry, you know. Like, you know, fuck, man.
That's good.
We're all there. We're all there to have fun. Everyone's drinking. Like, yeah, nobody wants any bullshit. You know, like people. You know, I don't think Boston's like that anymore. I don't have the impression. I know friends that go to shows out there now, and I never hear of any you know fights and things like that anymore. Which I think is a good thing. We were talking about growth on a scale of growth in a scene. It's good to see growth happening there. It's good to see that people.
Well, hopefully it was just because at the time it was just because it was so popular. Then all of those people that are just like there because it was popular, they just fizzled out, and then it goes back to just being like regular people that are together. You know what I mean? I don't want to say true because I want the young kid that's into Slipknot to come too. And then I want to turn him on to better music.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying true as the ones that only find it as a phase.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you...
I think you hit it earlier when you were talking about, like, you know, the people that were propagating the battles and the fights and shit like that were not people who were not into the music. Like, these people were into the fucking music. They were, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't... the one thing you can never say is that these people weren't into the tunes.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing: is most of them were into metal too. So it wasn't just hardcore kids.
That's why the crossover scene happened, because it was
But it was exactly that. Is that, you know, the people who were perhaps not, you know, the outsiders that didn't know a lot about the bands that show up once in a while. Those were the people that were, you know, more or less targeted, if you will. You know, you know, it wasn't a bit of a, I don't want to say elitist thing. I don't think it was an elitist thing, but it was definitely people who were part of the scene. And you're not quite part of the scene, so we're gonna let you know it. You know?
Yeah, unfortunately, which is not cool, of course.
I don't know. I was always against the rules.
Always against the rules,
Fuck
man.
the rules.
If you're literally here at this show for the same reason that I'm at this show, then we're all brothers and sisters.
I have my own way of thinking about things, you know. I want grindcore songs to be 30 seconds. But if somebody else disagrees with that, that's okay. I don't want that guy not to come to the show. You know what I mean? We'll just argue about it. It's all good.
That's all. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, you know?
You've got fans with about 30-second grindcore songs, or fans that love 15-minute long grindcore songs.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah. The fact that you're
15 minutes is a grindcore album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was just listening to Nails. I was listening to Nails, Abandoned All Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the way home from work, it's like from my work to here, it's 18 minutes. I think the song was. I think the album was over in 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Fucking right.
I was listening to Worm Rot today. It was like, oh, there's like 2 songs left. By the time I get home, it's a 10-minute drive.
All right, Mike. We have to. We got another interview lined up right now. So, any last words before we sign you off here?
No, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm a proud supporter of you guys, and really appreciate giving me the opportunity to hang with you guys and talk shit and have fun, man.
Let's do it again then.
That's it. Look out for the Furion record. Check out Coma Cluster Void if you haven't checked it out yet. And that's it, man. I'll see you guys. Worst case, I'll see you guys at the Quebec Medical.
You fucking right, you will, bud. All right, man. We'll chat later.
Cheers, man. Be safe.
Rock and roll, dude. All right. Hey, that's Mr. Mike DeSalvo there, eh, buds? Hey? Look at that. Look at that. He's just hanging out at CBGB. You ever play at CBGB's?
I did it. Of course, I played CBGB's. Fuck, one of my favorite. That was a must. And the other must was Whiskey and Go-Go. I played there twice. Both clubs twice, I think. And 2 of the clubs that I really wanted to play in my life, and I got to play both. So.
Fucking lucky shit. I've never had the opportunity. I was in first time in New York. New York was like 2 years ago for a Death Fest, and that was the first time that I've been there, and I fucking need to go back. Like, it's ridiculous.
New York is a fun time to go see metal shows. Always, it's people come out in droves, and they are really strong supporters.
Yeah.
I play New York every day. Love it.
Totally. Right on. All right, Mike. Well, like I said, we got another interview coming up, so we'll talk to you in a bit, bud.
Yeah, take care, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. Woo! All right. Let's see. Does this work here? Is this how it works? Sweet.
Oh, I gotta take this.
All right. So.
I can drink a beer with that guy.
Shit. Mr. Mike DeSalvo. Hey, we're just gonna keep this live stream going here.
All right.
But what's up? Let's go. We got. So we're supposed to be. Let's see. We're still doing this, right? Yeah, we're still going. All right. So we got. That was a great. Fucking Mike DeSalvo, man. What a great dude. What a great dude. All right. So right now, we're having a discussion with Mr. Jorge Reynaud. I believe that's how you pronounce it. He is. Okay, we got a dog in here, and he just keeps making. Bean, what are you doing? What are you doing here? What are you doing? All right, there's the dog here. We got a. There's dog here, eh? What's up? All right, you come on out. Come on out here. You're too loud. So we got Mr. Jorge all the way from Chile. And he's in a band called DECREPIT CADAVER. They've been around for a few years now. And also, let's see. Man. Let's do it here. Let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can get it going here. We're ringing Chile. All the way in Chile. Let's see, it's 9 o'clock here. I don't think it's too late over there. He is a guitarist and founder. Oh, is that there he is?
What's that smell I smell?
Hey there.
What up, Jorge?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Maybe it's you. You chewing gum or
What's up?
something?
All right. What's up, brother? How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
All right,
How's it
so
going over there?
well, we're just getting off the. Let's see here. We're gonna end up pointing you pretty much towards the camera because that's what
Alright.
that's what the fans are gonna see right now. Oh, I see you got some McFarlane spawns up there on your shelf there.
Oh yeah. Those are torture souls.
Tortured
Actually.
Souls, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I have a couple of those there too.
Oh, look at that! I see a little pinhead there. I see. Oh yeah.
Lecter.
See-
And there. So 1000 corpse, this one too. And yeah, Pinhead, Lecter, and Mayors over there. I
Yeah.
don't know if you see him.
Well,
Let's do it.
we were just talking about we were just talking about House of a Thousand Corpses ourselves, and Mr. Rob Zombie being not exactly the greatest. I guess you would say the greatest writer, but a pretty good director.
Yeah, I like how he directs. Yeah, but there's always there.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on
Like,
and Rob. Yeah.
because unfortunately his writing we find is pretty lackluster, but the way he shoots things, the way he lights things, and the way he brings the music and the soundtrack to it all, it really works out. But unfortunately his writing is very juvenile.
Terrible dialogue.
Yeah, it's designed for this kind of years, not like the times that we grow.
Yeah.
We go with different things. They all are, right?
Yes, totally. Okay, so I'm going to go behind the camera now, so you gotta go talk to them.
Okay.
So you are, how do you pronounce it? Jorg?
No, it's Jorge.
Jorge. Okay, alright, I'm way off.
English speaker. Yeah, no. This guy.
So you don't have the coronavirus, obviously.
No, I don't. No, all went well. Here is not many cases yet, but it's growing. It's growing fast, and people has not a lot of conscious about it.
Right.
But it is still going to grow, and I think there will be more cases next week.
Oh,
Both
boy.
parties there.
Oh boy. Okay, hold on a sec here. I got a dog in here. Hold on. Get out of here. Hold on.
It's making a ton of noise.
Okay, so we are chatting right now with the man behind the brutal death metal band Decrepit Cadaver, and also the record label Rotten Cemetery Records out of Chile, right?
Yeah.
So how long has the record label been around for?
The release I have with the label was 2014. I really can't remember which one. I think it was Psychosis, the first one. But I released another one called Pedophagia, which this is the second release, but I released it first because it was really first. But it was in 2015, and then I keep going with more releases until today. I have released 35 until now, 35 bands from all over the world, mostly Chilean bands. But a few years later, I started with Putrid Tongue Records, which is like a branch or something about Rotten Cemetery Records.
Wow. 35 releases? That's pretty good.
Yeah, I have worked with many bands around the world. But right now, for this year, we have like 8 or 6. But I don't know, it depends of the bands, they finish their works and be ready for being released.
Right. So what made you want to get a record label going?
The interest mainly was to fulfill time because, well, I dedicate myself to teaching. I do teaching in the school. But it started as a hobby. Then later on, I realized I could do more than a hobby than collecting things. So I started to helping out bands, friend bands, and then I decided to continue to do more things with bands, mainly Chilean bands, to show them out, to show them the world. That's what's the main idea. But I never thought I was going so, digamos, let's say, big. For me, it's big to do 35 releases, even though there are labels that has a lot of resources and do many things and big deals, big merchandise and everything. But we do the underground way, the trade way, and the old school way. Try to keep that going so we can help the bands to distribute and make them well known.
Yeah. So, Ed, I don't know if you want to move your camera at all, but you need to move it over to the middle more. There you go. There you go.
Oh no, that was perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because you were just sitting. You were sitting right on top of it. That's perfect.
That's perfect.
So Chile has a pretty good death metal scene.
It's solid. It's solid. It's good. It's old death metal scene. There's a lot of bands here. Mostly old school death metal bands like Sadism or Atomic Aggressor. I know you have heard them maybe.
Yep.
Pentagram. They are pretty old too. But there's brutal death metal bands too that are playing nowadays, which are very renowned, like Defacing or Human Butchery, which are being released actually this year, hopefully, or later for the Cemetery Records. There's not much brutal death metal bands. There's a lot of slam bands in the south of Chile, pretty good bands too. There's a lot of black metal, thrash, and other stuff. So I try to keep on track on brutal death metal and greencore and death metal bands on the label as well.
Right. So you just re-released Chronicus, which is an old school Chilean death metal band, correct?
Yeah, they are really old death metal band here. They stopped playing for a little while, like a couple of years. So we made a deal to re-release. Actually, first was for the new record, which they are preparing right now. But since that Revenge Another Reaction disc, it was like a CDR done in those years, so it didn't have a name on it. So we decided to re-release it to give it more exposition. So we started with that, added some bonuses and remastered version, and the guys now are just working on a new album to be released now. They are fully back, and they're a strong band, also pretty good stuff. You know that, I send you the
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But they are very solid. I'm really happy with them.
Yeah. So they.
Also, we're friends. They really enjoy glitch too, like you.
So they've been around.
Like us.
So they've been around since the late '80s. Is that kind of when Chronicus was around?
Yeah. They have been around for a while already. They have played a lot, but I don't know exactly what happened to them. But they were off I don't know 8 years or something like that. And I just met them last year through a friend. They decided to get back, and they contacted me. So we started working on the new material, what the thing I just told you, and they pretty much did that. They just back and want to play a lot. Actually, we were talking about it before you started with this interview. I had a conversation with the guy of Chronicles. He sent me a new song. I might send you that for you to check out after this. But they are on the work.
Right on, right on. So you re-released old albums or demos, or what was it?
No, the Revenge Never Reaction was the MP, like a mini CD. But I think that's the only thing they had that we have released. But what they are doing now, the next release will be a new album, new songs and everything. And for this year, I'm releasing other ones. I'm releasing a Colombian band which is called Nihilobster. Just waiting for them to finish the layout art. Nihilobster did a CD through its records, the old label of Internal Suffering. You remember that? These guys have been quiet for a little while too, and now they are going to be back with a very good album in the line of Internal Suffering actually, and it's very, very, very good release for this year.
And this
Also, I have the Facing. Waiting on this. You know Facing, right?
who?
Defacing is a good little one.
Defacing, right?
Defacing, yes, Defacing is a band which is releasing to a CD with Modern Cemetery. They are pretty good. They have a vast experience on Bruno Death Metal in here. They are an old band. Their first release is, I think, from 2003. And, well, they have been around playing a lot, but they have like two albums. They have two albums. And this will be the third, which will be a compilation with old songs and remastered songs and some new stuff to include it. And that should be out too this year, along with another band which is called Human Butchery.
Yeah.
And Hyperversity, which is a one-man band, which I'm going to release to, I think, in July.
And
like that is a panorama card.
And this is all
for Golden Cymbria.
And this is all coming out through your record label?
Yeah, they are in my record label.
Yes.
And with Future Tom, I have a new band which I just announced today, which is called Traumatic Noise. They are in the line like Mystery Index or Nasum or something like that.
Yep.
They are releasing their album. In August. Well, we just postpone a little bit because of this virus thing. Because no one knows how things will go now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no clue. Yeah, no clue what's going on here.
Yeah, we don't know actually. So we decided that, and we are just going to wait. If we can release it before, it will be good.
Right. So, what made you want to get your band going together, Decrepit Cadaver?
Well, my band is something I started when I was a little junior now. But I don't know. I like to play. That's what I can say. I playing the guitar since I was 9. There's nothing like fancy about it. Nothing special, I think. I like to play my own music. I started myself like everyone in the room. Then I from nothing I formed my band in 2005. I have got a few things already, and well, the direction that the band has now with the current lineup has changed in ways. We are preparing new material which is totally different from what I used to do before. Pretty excited. I think it's the vision of music. It's not nothing. I don't name it like a nothing special because it's what I've been playing for years, but just with different people.
Yeah.
So it changes. It has changed. Everything I have played or every album I have recorded is different because of that. So now I think I found it. I found the mojo. But, I'm very happy with that. You know that, right? You're
Yeah.
a senior guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it. I got it. But
And it feels good.
What we're gonna do it now. Yeah, I'm very happy. Today, this year we are launching our last album through Match Brutality Records, which is very nice too. It's a very old label. We expect they will do.
Unmatched
So
brutality.
we're very
Unmatched.
happy with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Let me just jump in there. Unmatched brutality. It's from Tennessee because it's the guy from Brodequin, right?
Yeah, whiskey.
Yeah. So that label has been around.
Yeah,
That label's been around since the early 2000s, I believe. And yeah, that is the it's the singer bass player, I believe.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what we talk about. Well, he's a really nice guy, and really nice person to deal with. So we are more than honored and happy to work with him. His experience and well, we are big fans of Vertigan.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I mean, if you are
really
a
uplifting people.
yeah, if you're a brutal death metal fan and you
Yeah,
don't know who Brodequin
well,
is,
the band and the history of the label is something that is very special to us because myself and most of us grew up listening to that. So it's in us. So I think that now we belong to that place and it's very special to us.
yeah, oh, definitely. Because I remember hearing, if you're a fan, I have my friend Matt here too. If you're a fan of Brodequin's album Festival of Death, right?
That's a good one. They're all good.
And
Both
pretty much all of them,
fans.
yeah, pretty much all of them are good. But like, there's just something about the like we just talked with Mike DeSalvo of Cryptopsy here, and their level of technicality compared to the brutal side of the death metal genre with Brodequin that was coming out in like the late 90s, like even early 2000s with that style where they still wanted to maintain some sort of noise feel to it with the technicality and the brutality of it all. And Brodequin pretty much brought it to like the grossest degree compared to like Deeds of Flesh, the Unique Leader label at the time when they were coming out with their bands and stuff. But Brodequin just kept it gross and incomprehensible. You really had to listen to it to actually understand what it was going on because it literally does. It sounds noisy.
Oh, it's totally noisy.
It's really noisy. So when you first listen to Brodequin, they're just one of those bands where it's like, okay, I don't know what's going on.
With the way they tune their drums too.
Yeah,
You know, like they have to tune their drums to make it to make you understand the drums.
Yeah.
It's weird. They have to tune it different. That's what I always took
we
from
want-
that. Yeah.
That's all I think about that is that we wanted that. We wanted more brutal, and they give it to us. We liked it because it was so a rush of brutality. So we wanted that, and we wanted the stump of brutality, and they did that. They gave that to us because we already had acts like suffocation, if you forgot, in which that was already too brutal stuff. But they did this, and they crushed it. They crushed so much. Um, at the same time, Cryptopsy, I was talking with a friend before, which maybe he might probably be watching this. We were talking about the Mighty Salvo's work and how much we like those two albums, or at least Whisper Supremacy is like a jewel for me. Honestly, it's one of the most I like. I know people say I don't know, Sobile is a really great album, which it is.
Yep.
But I'm a big fan of Whisper Supremacy, and I love vocals actually.
Yes.
And not that I have to say, not many of my friends agree with me. They still like it, but they liked. Or obviously, sometimes they say I prefer Warren. No, I prefer Salvo. And I was talking with this friend, and he told me, no, I prefer the Salvo. And yes, I told him that's his album talking there. I say, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, because DeSalvo brought just a whole different level of brutality with distinguishable vocals.
Yeah, because at that time they got so much more technical. If he didn't make the vocals better, you know, if it was just a bunch of garbling, blah, 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 it wouldn't have stood out. But he made it. He made it so that you could understand, so that you could pick apart. Oh, that's this song and that's this song. I always really respected that. I'm a big fan of And Then You'll Beg, and nobody talks about that album, but I think it's great.
That's what was made them different from everything we're listening to. So they were different. They were special.
Yeah.
It was unique, actually.
Love Cryptopsy.
Yeah, it
used to play in poker. I remember the Benediction Convulsions with the DECREPIT CADAVER. I used to play it with just room. We never played it like live. We played it like sucky play, not really the exact thing, but we still enjoyed it a lot. And always thought about this sort of thinking, singing. But we didn't have a vocal at that time. So it was only instrumental.
So
like no drummer, no vocals, no bass.
Maybe that's what the world needs: a bunch of brutality with no singing,
with just
brutal,
no singing,
just Juns. I'm in. Let's do it.
Instrumental brutality.
Sign my band. I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
We're called Coronavirus.
Those ones are crazy, man. Those ones are crazy to play. Honestly, they are brutal and they are fucking insane. That's what I can tell.
So your new EP. Actually, hold on a sec here. I gotta run downstairs because that's where my CDs are, and that's where the DECREPIT CADAVER album is. Hold on a sec here.
Cam's gonna go dig up your stuff so that he can pump it on the internet for all to see. Here's another one we were talking about. I don't know where the camera is, but you can see Malignancy. We were just talking about this. You a fan of Malignancy?
Yeah, of course I am.
Yeah.
Certain ones, love Malignancy. I actually have that one. Same every one.
Fucking Cam has two. So he's got you beat.
What happened? What happened?
We're talking about Malignancy.
Oh yeah. Right there.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go. See, he's got
same
it too.
thing. I got the same thing. That's awesome.
It's funny because we were just talking about this before we went on air. Yeah.
There we are.
I
There.
have that too, but on there I don't want to stand up.
My favorite Malignancy album is Motivated by Hunger.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty insane one. I like a lot of Malignancy albums actually. Yeah.
So
that one is totally special.
So here's your latest album here, which is that one there, yeah. Little EP, The Outer Darkness. So this came out.
Like a minute.
Yeah. So this came out. You just released this one, right?
Yeah, that was released in 2019. I think it was August. I'm not sure, but August or October. No, August. I'm not really sure, honestly. Yes, last year.
It's your band. Come on.
I don't remember, man. I don't remember. You know, we problems sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the race part of heads. So yeah. Last year was released. You like it or what?
It is unbelievable. It is, but it's the same thing too that I say. It's with brutal death metal. At first, it's noise, but when you actually sit down and listen to it with like headphones and a fat joint, then
you have to.
Yeah, you have to. Then you actually. Then you actually know.
Well, I created it, so it has to be that way.
But it's fantastic, and that's why I brought up the whole the Brodequin feel, because the technicality and the riffage is unbelievable, but there's a noise element to it that it's just sickening on top of it all. And obviously we've been working together for the last few years, and I've been able to, concentrate on the last bunch of albums that you guys put out, and you have some new members on this one, which is giving you a little bit more of a, it's more brutal than the other ones.
Yeah, definitely. We made a change because now I can play what was intended to play before. Well, actually, the new members have a little bit in the band already. Well, we've been playing. Actually, I'm not sure again about the dates, but let's say 2 years or something like that with the drummer.
Yeah.
3 years maybe. I'm not really sure. 2 or 3 years. The vocals is the same. Well, the bassist is the same of Vortice, which was the last album we recorded, the last non-play. The Vortice album, which is Vortex to the CADAVER.
Yeah.
The other 2 guys enter after that one. After we did a couple of shows, I think in 2018. 2018, I entered the vocals, and before in 2017 entered the drummer. But it was right after we recorded that one, the Vortice one. The Vortice one was recorded by the original drummer, which was the one who played the other albums before. He left the city, and well, we have a hard time actually finding one new one, but the one we found was the precise one. So things changed because his way of playing was a little bit different, and it was what I was looking for. So it allowed us to do different things,
right?
Faster things, and other side of the metal.
Yeah, because this album is a lot faster than, well, this EP is a lot faster than the last stuff that you guys put out.
Yeah, it's because it's the drummer's fault actually, because he's always want to go fast, or faster. But it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. The new songs we had, besides of this, the 2 songs it has the same elements, more diversity too, and they are fast too. I don't know what I'm saying actually. They are too fast, man. Yeah, they're definitely fast. That's it. That's what I can say.
Yeah, well, and you were mentioning too that you guys are playing your older songs faster now, also.
Yeah. Everything changed with the new drummer. We had to. Well, we were forced to change that too because the old songs didn't sound pretty much alike like the new material. So well, the old songs actually are better for playing fast. Not only faster because the drummer made some arrangements in the drums, and well, the guitars and the other instruments stay the same. The vocals always have a little change because between the 2 vocalists there's a difference, but both did great jobs. The previous vocalist, Elias, was a great vocalist too. He left due to personal reasons, and well, now we have Gonzalo, which is now also a partner for Rotten Cemetery Records, and now, well, with his help, I will be able to do many things more with the label. And things are going pretty good with these guys.
Good.
Well, we had a tour now in May. We had, I said, because I don't know what's going on, but probably it will drop down because of the virus thing.
No, just not today.
Things are not going good and doesn't do very well for May too.
Yeah.
So maybe we have to postpone it, which is probably will.
Oh yeah, sure.
unless
I've made brownies
things
and
that
all sorts of
are
things before.
clear to
That's
us.
from the government.
Well, this festival hasn't canceled yet, but I don't know the scenario. All I see in the news and in the media is that things are getting worse and worse. But I don't
What did it cost you?
solution.
Yeah.
So, you, like,
So-
Hope it's not-
So you guys ended up coming out to Las Vegas last year.
It doesn't taste like shit.
no, it wasn't last year. That was
No.
18.
Was it? Yeah.
2018, I think. Yeah, 2018.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I have the card here. I have no good memory, man.
Yeah, well, as we get older, it gets a little tougher. Yeah, definitely.
You know this guy already.
Yeah.
They do, though.
What about
Take
you?
time off. But then you gotta jump through fucking hoops to get paid. Yeah.
So how did that go? How did that work out?
I'm the same way.
The
Yeah,
crap.
it was great. It was great. Las Vegas is a great city. Well, the reception, everything,
I
the
mean,
bands.
my job too.
It was a great experience.
Yeah, but
Well, I was able to see many bands I liked. I always told my wife, and I went with my wife.
we have kids.
I was with my wife. I wish I would have to play to see all these bands, like drinking and having fun.
Yeah.
But
Excellent.
yeah, we really enjoyed to play. The stage was amazing. The sport. Well, Michael Gordon he's a great guy. So we had a great show. Great support from the people. A lot of feedback. Positive feedback we never expected. So it was a big deal for us. It was a really great thing for all the big scene that was attending there. So that motivated us, of course, to do bigger things
Yeah.
like this year. But thank you, coronavirus, to
Oh.
ruin it. Well, we are
Wow.
going to
Yeah.
see what's happening.
So you guys have this EP out, which is put out by Unmatched Brutality, which we're going to show again, obviously. And you have Rotten Cemetery, which has been putting out some killer. We got the Chronicus, and we were talking about this earlier. The Batakazu.
Yeah. I
That
know that. I don't know if I told you. I don't know if I told you, but in that band, in Batacazo, I don't know how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's not even Spanish. I have to ask guys. But Batacazo is the drummer of Batacazo is the same drummer of the older drummers of the DECREPIT CADAVER New Things. That's the drummer. That's
oh
where I got it from.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that guy plays in Batacazo. It's his band, actually.
Okay.
He likes a lot of. He's another school of metal. He's like a Green or Gorby guy. That's the thing he likes. He likes a lot of brutal metal too. But his style is mostly blast beating and gravity. That's why he plays. But he's all Gorby, Butalax, and that thing's spasm, and that's how he's fan of all of that. Well, you can tell if you listen to Batacazo, you will realize that it's a lot of different than the DECREPIT CADAVER.
Yeah. Well, and then we bring up Guttalax or whatever. I just, as much as I agree and I don't mind some of the porno grind and everything, those vocals sometimes just get a little too much.
Yeah. Who we're talking about the other day, remember? Yeah, I know. I like the brutal, but I like a sense of the brutal things too. I like things with sense. I like concepts in albums. Personally, that's why I don't release too much stuff in that way.
Right.
For Winter, I like the bands, the line of Nabodet, so the old way of Winter. I don't know, Carcass or I don't know, that's
Right.
etc. But I'm not really a good fan of the noisy ones, honestly.
Yep.
But I like Gold Green. I like Gold
Of
Green.
course.
I like the rhythm of Gold Green. I like it a lot. But sometimes it's all the same.
There's a lot of the same. There's a lot of the same.
But there's a lot to do. But Agasso is a band who has a really good potential. It's a really good band. Live, they are very good. They are really good. That's what I can tell you. It's a band is one of the few bands of that style I like a lot.
Yeah.
Because I have seen them many times, of course. I have played with them many times, and the drummer do the twice playing and everything. So they're good. They're really good. Like they are like for playing on the extreme or festival or something like that. They are really rhythmical.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, like, because the music is there, but again, it's just really noisy, right? So you have to look past that.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So, so with Decrepit Cadaver, you guys are making new material, obviously, and you're putting out a full-length album soon, or what's going on?
We have to. Well, no, we have to. I won't say that. But we have already 5 songs ready on the go. Besides the 2 of the Older Darkness. Well, the Older Darkness is something besides what we are ready now. Same line, of course, but other songs. We are planning to write about 10 songs, 10 new songs, I think. Once we have the 10 songs or 12 songs, we are going to studio again and record. That will be this year. We have a deal with the label for doing the new album on the 2020, which is I think in November, maybe before. I'm not really sure right now, but it will be this year definitely when we are going to record. It will be around 10 songs, I think. That's the goal I have for myself.
Right on.
But it's still on the go. They're still working on them. Well, we were planning to play them live in the tour, like 3 or 4 of them, but I think it's not going to happen. So we are going to release the album, I guess, and then we are going to tour it. We would love to go to Canada. I told you the other last year, I think I told you.
Yep.
Remember? Well,
you're trying. Yeah.
It will be.
Definitely.
It could be possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
Why not? Why not? So with Rotten Cemetery, what is coming out on the label next?
Well, next, I have a few bands I mentioned before, which were The Facing.
Yep.
Which is, what's going on?
Uh-oh, someone's calling you.
It's a friend who's calling me to play Call of Duty.
Nice.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I guess you wanted to play Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, it's not touchscreen. Some of these laptops aren't touchscreen all the time, right? That's I keep thinking all the time.
Hey, Call of Duty is important these days. There you
What,
go.
Call of Duty's more important? Is that what's going on here?
Sorry about that. I have to take that now, man. I don't know what I did, but I clicked the wrong button, I guess. So hang on him. But I clicked the wrong button and hang on you.
Cool.
But yeah, he wants to play Call of Duty. And he's laughing. He just messaged me and I say, ha ha ha. What the hell?
Whatever.
He knows what he did.
Doesn't he know that death metal is more important than that?
Yes, he doesn't know he likes only melodic death metal.
Oh, boo. Boo.
Delete. Delete.
Get him out of there! Get him out of there! So we have a couple more releases coming up on Rotten Cemetery. We have some new material coming out with Decrepit Cadaver.
The line I told you, I'm going to write it. So you can say it. It's defacing.
Yep.
Now you can see it. Where's the camera now?
Camera's up here somewhere. If you...
No, I mean it nice and I didn't see it.
Just put it up on the comments on the...
I don't usually chit chat with cameras, so I'm not used to this, but okay. That is the facing I told you. Well, they are working on the cover and the songs are ready. Pretty damn brutal stuff. They are really tight that band. I need to send you some stuff of them. I haven't released them yet, but I will send you something.
Cool.
The other band I'm releasing is a Colombian band which is called Nihilobstadt. I told you about. They were released before in the old label, they were Gastic Records, which is now the owner, Sevaret Records owns that label now. All the releases, I think they bought it. Things like Illusion, Postulated, all things impure. I remember some of the releases, the old releases they have. It was all label from the guy from Turn Suffering. That's what I remember. In those years.
Yeah.
I don't ask me the year, please.
Yeah.
It was a lot of time ago. Yeah, I can tell you. I remember I bought the Smash Corps of the Electrocution and Corpse Fucking Out War of the Totally year to that label in those years. Those years, I'm going to say. But, that band, Nihilobstadt, which is Colombian, and we are waiting for the master, but they are almost ready, master and the cover design. After that, I have Inhuman Butchery, with Shaban, who has released before something with a label, an Italian label, which is called Auditorial Devastation, I think. It's like a label from the Vermeer record label, the owner of the Vermeer records label. But they did an EP before. They are not really well known, but it's a pretty good band. Really good stuff from Chile. Chronicles, I think it will be for the end of the year, maybe. As I told you, they just sent me a song sample of the new stuff they are doing.
Yeah.
I want to show you later. Testing sound or something like that. What else with Rotten Cemetery? And Human Exploration too. But I haven't spoke actually to Travis, but we are on the go. They are last week we spoke was where they were working on the songs. Drums were recorded, and the cover was kind of ready. I saw he was busy with doing a festival. Well, maybe the festival is off now with the Corona thing. All is off now with the Corona thing.
Yep.
We are locked in. Yes.
Well, that's cool. So you're keeping busy.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
I'm asking for another drink. Wait.
I need another shot myself.
I'm drinking Pisco. You know Pisco?
No, what's that?
Pisco? Yeah, I know what Pisco is.
What is that?
It's like I have heard it before. It's like a Spanish bourbon.
Yep.
It's not
Bourbon. Okay, bourbon's good.
Yep.
It's not that bourbon. Yes.
Bourbon or
But
rye?
it's not that. It's made from grapes. It's transparent, delicious.
Yep.
Very good.
Well, it's almost like I almost find it like a not a Slivovitz. No?
What's
It's like
that?
potato.
It's a bourbon, you said? Pisco?
Yeah, no, not actually. But I read in Wikipedia that is compared to bourbon, but it was like the derivation from that. But the Pisco is actually It's made from grapes. I don't know the process.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pisco.
Probably more like.
But it's grapes.
What's
I should say I don't know the process, but it's transparent. Transparent sometimes
brandy?
it's
Probably
like
more
yellow
brandy.
Brandy.
drink.
Grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a brandy. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a brandy because I haven't tried brandy, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's more like a grapes. It's more like grapes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You drink it with. Often you drink it here with Coca-Cola or Coke.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The,
All right.
The drink.
Ah, all
Or
right.
Sprite.
Well, then you have your drinks and we have our drinks.
Yeah, I see. What village is that?
Actually, this is a Lowenbrow. This is just what is this, German?
Yeah.
It's just like a German cheap Pilsner. Yeah, it's only $2 a can, so that's what I can afford right now.
Coronavirus.
I'm drinking a Pisco, not really the grapes too, but it has a good presentation. It's called Diablo. That's a cheap one.
Right on.
I'm going to show you the bottle. Wait. So what we're talking?
So pretty much the Chilean death metal scene. Cheers.
Cheers.
Definitely. Woo! Yeah, right on, man. Fucking right. Cheers across the world, everybody.
This is Pisco.
Mmm.
There you go. See, it looks evil. Look at that.
Whoa, look at that. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Is
That's
that
what I bought it.
Pisco
I know how it tasted. but I like the design of this one. There's a lot of brand of Pisco.
right?
This one I haven't tried before. It's actually good, but I will tell you tomorrow how I feel. So I don't know. Probably won't be too good.
So
you could corner the market on like after hangover morning interviews.
How do you feel when you hangover? Yeah.
To be honest with you, this was like an offer in the supermarkets, and it was $7.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't much.
Brutal death metal hangover interviews.
Would one is 15 or 13, but
Oh.
it tastes the same.
Yeah.
It just, but tomorrow I can tell you if it has some
Wow.
difference.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
the good one doesn't do anything tomorrow. But you are bored. That's the difference. You see it tomorrow, but on the road, you are okay.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Nothing's getting released tomorrow.
At least tomorrow is Sunday, and we're locked in. So
So I see Defeated Sanity. You were a big fan of those guys, huh?
yeah, I like that. I like that. I have that flag for a while. Well, I have that actually there because it's to cover the disc. That's this from the distro of the label.
Okay.
This I have another patch, which is like there, and it's just a flag. I have another flags too. Well, with the Sunny Savannah, I really enjoy. I'm looking forward to listen to their new album. They are really good. That's what I can say. I don't know what else I can say. I don't know them for many years, but the years I have listened to them, I have really enjoyed what they have done.
Yeah.
I've seen them live actually only once in Vegas, and they crushed it.
Yeah.
They were great. Well, I heard they canceled the tour, which is pretty bad for them.
Everybody's canceled.
So not only Roland Cemetery or not only my band support everything. In these times, it's even harder to push forward over having a label. Another label is hard to do, and it's all about passion. So it's all about support. People have to support.
I mean, the fact that we are still working through all this with such a crazy genre of music, it's something that we have to do. We don't have a choice. We just do it because we love it.
Yeah, and we are going to die doing it.
Yes.
That's what I say. My wife always asks me, when is it going to stop? I woke her up today with some drumming in the computer, like very loud drumming. What's that? She said. Mad because she jealous of me. I'm doing music, huh? She doesn't care.
Yeah.
What's that? She said.
Yep. And literally, what are you listening to? I can't understand what you're listening to. It's perfect. It's what I need to hear. Exactly.
You've been explained 1,000 times, but it's never going to understand.
All right. So everybody out there, this is, how do you pronounce you're gay?
No, I'm not gay.
No.
What are you saying?
Your name. Your
He's not
name.
a guy. He's a guy. No, my name is Jorge.
Jorge.
It's like George. Just George. I
George.
don't care.
Right.
It's easier. This is George. This is the same shit.
All right.
Jorge is in Spanish. But it's George.
Okay. So yeah, he runs Rotten Cemetery Records for everybody that's just kind of tuning in or whatever like that. And his band Decrepit Cadaver, which is their new EP, is out on Unmatched Brutality Records, which is a legendary brutal death metal label. And here's the man. And we have to go do some things ourselves. Like, I have to piss out of my ass right now. Because I've been drinking myself and hanging out during these terrible times. And make sure to support around the world. It's not just about your scene. It's about the worldwide scene. And here's a man bringing it to you from Chile. So
metal, it's unity. Metal is unity.
it literally is. It literally is.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Anytime, dude. And like I said, man, I hope we can fucking connect eventually, because obviously this is something that we are both passionate about, and we have been passionate about for the last half of our life, or even more than half of our life, really. So let's keep this groove going, and it's been a pleasure to chat with you, my man, again.
Same again. Well, talk to you later, man.
All right, dude. All right. So make sure.
Interview, man.
Fucking A.
See you.
Rotten Cemetery, man. Check it out. All right, I guess that's it. All right, brother. We'll chat soon, okay? Well, how's that? Woo! Very cool. Very cool. All right, we're just going to turn this off for a few, just because we got to go do some things, and I don't know, we'll probably be back in a few, all right? All right?